Hi, guys, and welcome to another edition of Soundbites. My name is Rob Carson. I am a talk show host, syndicated comedy writer, video and audio podcaster, and frustrated chef wannabe. And hopefully we'll have a food truck someday. We'll see. I'm still debating and possibly crowdfunding and all that stuff. It would be a food truck, and I snorted there. Sorry. It would be a food truck, probably some sort of Italian barbecue fusion. So I'm working on the concept. I made a barbecue lasagna a while back. Oh, my Lord in heaven, it was awesome. Just had some leftover pork butt, didn't sauce it up too much, and layered it with smoked sausage and cheese, and it was a gift from God. So we'll see. Anyway, welcome to the show. Much to get to. Chick-fil-A under fire at airports around the country, a couple different ones. But it doesn't stop millennials from loving Chick-fil-A. A lot of, food news from around the country. Oh, and Game of Thrones, I guess, is the premiere's coming up on the 8th, right? The 8th of April. And I don't watch the show. My wife and son really got into it, and so they know all the characters. My wife even got a Game of Thrones wine glass. I don't know what the heck it is. But I know one thing. Don't put it in the dishwasher or I'll kill you. Not quite that bad, but pretty close. Pretty close. So all of that and a tour through Kansas City, because there's something available here in Kansas City that only one other place that I've lived had this item, and they did a very mediocre to poor job preparing it. And then I moved to Kansas City, and I didn't realize that this food item is unique to Kansas City, and it's glorious. I'll surprise you with that in a moment. I want to start off with, there's a move towards more vegetarian menu options. And like I've got a story later, McDonald's is introducing veggie chicken nuggets. Veggie chicken nuggets. That makes no sense at all. Vegetarians, listen, I love you. Vegetarians, vegans, not so much. But I'll tell you, why would you want a veggie chicken nugget? I don't go to a steakhouse and say, can you cut my steak into the shape of a carrot, please? You know what I mean? So as far as veggie chicken nuggets or veggie chicken wings, just eat your blob of whatever it's made out of, dip it in the sauce, and don't call it a chicken nugget, because it's not a chicken nugget. I'll explain to you why McDonald's is having to call it vegetarian and not vegan. Sorry. Just not a big fan of veganism. It's not natural. Makes you sick. So the Impossible Whopper is being test launched in St. Louis. Apparently, it is just as juicy and crave-worthy as the standard beef Whopper. And apparently, ahead of April Fool's Day, they pranked some of their loyal customers, serving them an Impossible Whopper, saying it was a Whopper, which is kind of deceitful. You think about it. How would vegetarians feel if you were like, yep, that's not a vegetarian meat patty. That's real meat. I don't think that would go over very well. But anyway, the Burger King put together a commercial with the people being surprised in St. Louis with regard to the Whopper. So you'll hear the audio, and those of you on YouTube, of course, will see the video for the Impossible Whopper ruse.
We conducted an experiment to evaluate how well Whopper fans know their beloved Whopper. The people you will see here are real people, and these are their real reactions.
I've probably eaten about 2 Whoppers a week for the last 20 years.
I love Whoppers. I've turned Burger King.
Whoppers are a damn good sandwich. I just got to say, well, Whoppers have always been good. I can taste one right now if I think about it, because they have a unique taste. I can taste a McDonald's cheeseburger right now, Big Mac. It has a unique just a unique taste, and it's a good sandwich.
To a crime scene a time or two.
I absolutely love beef. Beef all the way.
If it's not beef, I don't want it. First bite, I would know the difference between
I want a t-shirt that says beef all the way.
Beef and whatever else you have.
Little do they know, their Whopper patty was actually made from plants.
You're f***ing kidding me.
We're not, Grant.
Wait, plant-based? What are you talking about?
No animals, just plants.
Really?
This is a f***ing cow.
No f***ing cow.
Tastes like a Whopper. Tastes like a Whopper. Tastes like a beef burger.
It's made of f***ing beef right here. You see that? It's beef.
I love all the bleeping.
We swear it's not beef.
That's impossible. It tasted just like a Whopper should taste.
A patty with 0 milligrams of cholesterol, 17 grams of protein, 100% Whopper, and 0% beef. We know it's impossible to believe. The Impossible Whopper, only at Burger King in St. Louis.
I'm confused. I'm reevaluating my life.
I'm reevaluating my life. That is fantastic. Yeah, you know, I'd like to try it. I would like to try it. What the heck? If there's a healthier option, why the heck not? And you know, I mean, they say that red meat's so desperately terrible for you. I say, you know, all things in moderation and occasionally to excess. So I don't think eating a little bit of dead cow every once in a while is such a big deal. But they did trick the people of St. Louis into believing, hey, yeah, what the heck? Why the heck not? Why not? Here's my only problem is I don't like uptight people when it comes to food, and I don't like politicizing food, and I don't like just people who are hyper picky, you know, and sometimes those people, in fact, all the times those people are vegans. Part of the time they're vegetarians. And I know I'm probably going to get some hate mail from vegans. You can write me, vegans, carsonontheradio@gmail.com. If you have the strength to lift a pen, just carsonontheradio@gmail.com. That would be great. I do have a t-shirt line online. It's teepublic.com/conservatees with 2 E's. And there is a shirt up there that says veganism is an eating disorder. So I kind of like to stir it up a little bit. Are you ready for the food? It's really only available in Kansas City, and I'm sure there are a couple of other places that there are things like, for instance, Springfield, Missouri, cashew chicken. That's a Springfield, Missouri creation, and God help you if you live there, because I lived there for a while. And then also Springfield, Illinois, which I also lived in, and one of the things they have a thing called a horseshoe, which is essentially toast, French fries, some sort of meat, and then like a kind of a hollandaise sauce, poutine, almost like a poutine sauce. And it's quite delightful. It really is. It's better than Springfield, Illinois, to be quite honest. But I digress. But there are cities who are famous for Chicago's deep dish pizza, which I do believe is pizza, and it absolutely kicks butt. I love it, love it, love it. Washington, D.C., I don't know if Washington, D.C., it's a hodgepodge. Washington, D.C. is a hodgepodge. But Kansas City, Missouri is known for burnt ends. Burnt ends are part of the brisket of beef. There are two parts of the brisket. You separate them. The smaller part, I believe, is called the flat. I could be wrong. Don't correct me. But what they do is they smoke the heck out of it, slap sauce on it, and it's ridiculous. It's sick and wrong. That's one of my expressions, sick and wrong. When something really good, it's sick and wrong. And burnt ends are just quite simply not available anywhere in the country. I went to Famous Dave's in when I was living north of Washington, D.C. Nothing against you, Dave. I met Dave when he first opened his restaurant in Minneapolis, but the portion size was minuscule. They were cubed way too small, and they were just not Kansas City burnt ends. And if you don't live here and you love barbecue, you've got to do barbecue tourism. Okay. Now you can go to Austin, Texas, and go to Franklin's if you want to make a pilgrimage, or you can go to Cincinnati, Ohio, and go to Montgomery Inn to get their ribs, which, by the way, are terrible. They boil the ribs first, and as my friend Meathead Goldwyn likes to say at AmazingRibs.com, if you boil the ribs, the terrorists win. So if you boil any kind of meat, particularly ribs, somebody needs to smack you upside the head. Sorry. Not the abuse thing, but honestly, if you boil your ribs, and I did that like the first time I made ribs, and I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? Why would you boil all the flavor out of meat? Why would you boil it's like boiling a steak. Are you kidding me? If you're going to boil meat, it's got to be part of a soup. You could think of another meat that's good boiled. I mean, other than like crawfish, then, forget about it. But this interesting piece in Eater talks about several different places, and again, if you want to do a barbecue tourism thing, come to Kansas City and I'll take you around, as long as you're not a psycho. Arthur Bryant's a big one, been serving ribs since 1972. In this review, what they do is kind of interesting because they'll serve, like there was a place back when I was in college in North KC called Marty's, and what they do is they bring you out a garbage can lid or a big old pizza pan, and they surround it with meat, and then they put a pile of white bread in the middle. It's kind of like there are some countries in Africa where they have that spongy bread, and they put piles of meat and legumes and all this crap, and you sweep it up with the spongy flatbread. And that's not as good as Kansas City barbecue. You put it on just a piece of white bread. You serve it with a sauce. If you're going to have it on a sandwich, I personally prefer a dill pickle and mustard and barbecue sauce and red onion on my sandwich. And I tell you what, it is roll your eyes to the back of your head good. It is so good. And you want to know what what's the number one secret to barbecue? What is the number one ingredient? Is it sauce? No. Is it smoke? No. It's time. It's time. Barbecue was created in the South, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the story that I heard, it was created by slaves, and they were given the lower end cuts of meat. Not the stuff that was served in the plantation house. And they learned to season it and slow roast it and put it to the plantation house because they made something better than was being served in the plantation house. Thank you very much. That's what I've heard about barbecue. Back to the article. Danny Edwards. I've not had Danny Edwards before. They are smoked until barky and charred and taken, chopped into small bits, sauced, and served with a slice of white bread on the side. I'm going to share with you in a few the best place for burn-ins in a few. Gates Barbecue, founded by George Gates in 1946, a legend. Gates is pretty good. This is interesting because you go to the store in Kansas City, you won't believe it. I mean, you go to your grocery store wherever you live, and you ain't going to get 300 options for sauce. Literally. And you should see the barbecue stores here. I should do a tour for you. You should see the barbecue stores where you go and you get these industrial smokers and grills. You've never seen anything like it. And you go in there, and they've got test kitchens where they will, do training. In Kansas City, I'm sorry, you know what? I mean, yeah, Texas barbecue's good. They're more about beef. They're more about pecan wood and all that stuff. But Kansas City is the brisket capital of the world and the pork ribs capital of the world. Sorry, Memphis. It just is. Just is. So what else? Oh, Fiorella's Jack Stack Barbecue. That's a good place. Fiorella's is really good. It has some nice options, and I know this is going to sound terrible, but one of the sides they offer is a really good kebab with just veggies on it. And it's nice to kind of balance out whatever else you're going to have. So this article said, I ordered a plate of the burn-ins, which were essentially cubes of pork butt, slightly charred for color. So they have a pork butt version of it. And I do this. I do kind of a burnt-end. Well, I call it is when I'm doing the St. Louis style spare rib. And for those of you who don't know, the St. Louis spare rib is the part closest to the abdomen. The baby back is the rib off of the spine in the back. That's it. What's the other difference between the baby back and the St. Louis style spare rib? Do you know? In the St. Louis style spare rib, the meat is between the bones. In the baby back, it's on the back. It's on the top. So it's like a meat lollipop. Oh, God, it's so good, too. And as far as cooking is concerned, smoker, 225 degrees, 3.5 hours for baby back ribs. Or in your oven. Or in your oven if you don't have a smoker. I get it. You must learn the ways of the smoke. And for the St. Louis, 4.5. Those are my rules of thumb. LC's is pretty cool. LC's. He did Anthony Bourdain did a no reservation show called The Barbecue Show to End All Barbecue Shows. 2 names topped his recommendations. LC's was one of them, and they just have their sauces now in the stores. And again, you literally can get 100 different kinds of barbecue sauce in almost any store in Kansas City. It's crazy. It's just nuts. And it's interesting because what do Kansas City and Asian culture have a lot in common. If you go to a great Asian store, and I've had several of them. There's one called Great Wall that was near my home in D.C., and it was so good. Just the freshest seafood and the best crazy produce stuff I'd never seen before. And sauces, and just sauces and sauces and sauces, and I love it. I love them. The other place was at Oklahoma Joe's, which is now called KC Joe's in Kansas City. And the Oklahoma Joe's only serves their burn-ins, I think it's twice a month, and I've got one within about 5 minutes of my house, not very far. But they opened in 1996, and they have essentially obtained cult status. And so Anthony Bourdain, when he was alive, went to Oklahoma Joe's, named it one of the 13 places to eat before you die. That's pretty impressive. That's impressive. Now, the original location is at a Shamrock gas station on the corner of 47th Avenue and Mission Road. Believe it or not, some of the best food out there is being served in America's convenience stores. I'm not kidding. I went to, there was a place near where I used to live, and they had the best Mediterranean food, tabbouleh and hummus and tzatziki, and it was crazy. Then I had another place that had the best gyros, just this dumpy little convenience store near my home. But anyway, you can see get burn-ins there Mondays and Saturdays. All right. Papa Bob's Barbecue is another place. He has a thing called the Ultimate Destroyer, a foot-long hoagie battleship carrying over 4 pounds of smoked meat with sauce and gratuitous slices of bread layered between. Oh, that sounds good. It appeared on the show Man vs. Food. I miss that show. I miss Adam as the host because it just is not good anymore. It's just not good. Why is it we like to watch fat guys on television stuff their faces? Q39 is an interesting concept. Q39 is run by restaurateur and graduate of the Culinary Institute of America, and his name is Rob McGee. And they had now they got 2 locations, and they're getting ready to get much, much bigger, much bigger. And what he does is it's a chef concept barbecue joint. So it's not a hole in the wall with a smoker in the back and blues music playing over the speaker. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Nothing wrong with that. So it's a chef inspired. It's not snobby. It's not snobby, but it is definitely not a hole in the wall. And a little pricey. It's a little pricier, they put their smoked brisket, says here on the article, into strips, then serve it on bun with a sauce. Sure. $9 for the sandwich, no sides included. One of the other things that you get in Kansas City, which is kind of funny, it's so old school. Kansas City is so old school. You can still get Dorothy Lynch salad dressing in grocery stores here. If you've not had it, it's orange. It's like abnormally orange with poppy seeds. It's very interesting. But Kansas City is again very, and the front of grocery stores, there are mechanical horses that the kid can ride for $0.25 still. I know, right? It is just nuts. But Kansas City is kind of old school with regard to cooking and stuff like that, and I think that's what makes it glorious. That's what's making. And one of the things I was trying to get to is one of the side dishes at a lot of the barbecue joints is cheesy corn. It's just corn with cheese, and it's really fattening, and it's wonderful when it's done right. You get mac cheese, cheesy corn. You get coleslaw, baked beans, smoker beans. Some places what they'll do is they'll actually put the pan of beans in the smoker under the meat so the droppings fall into the baked beans, and it's heart attack central. It's it's so high in fat you have no idea. a place called Rye. I haven't been there, but they serve their burn ends as an open-faced sandwich on Texas toast with a side of pickles, cottage fries. That's in Leawood, Kansas, not far. Now, there is a place called Smoking Guns I've been to. And after nearly a decade on the barbecue competition circuit, Phil and Linda Hopkins opened Smoking Guns in North KC. And it's an industrial park. So it's just a bunch of like warehouses and stuff. It's very interesting that all of a sudden, boom, there's a restaurant for barbecue. And their burn ends are friggin' fantastic. Really good. Sneed's Barbecue opened in 1956. They called their burn ends brownies. So they're, I guess, pretty good. Now, the place that I want to talk to you about, I just mentioned here, is Three Little Pigs. It is this one restaurant, guy named Chris Marks, who won the American Royal World Series of Barbecue, opened it up. And by the way, winning the American Royal World Series of Barbecue is an incredible feat. To win it 3 times is unfreaking real. And Chris calls his burn ends meat marshmallows. And I tell you what, I don't know what he does, but he brought some to me one time, and they just, melted in your mouth. Just gone. Wow, what just happened? What did I think I just had a religious experience. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Just want to mention a sponsor real quick here, Dots Pretzels. Dots Pretzels is was a Midwest concern. Now they're growing, and they are actually in Arizona. These are the best pretzels you've ever had in your life. These are the best pretzels you've ever had in your life. They are buttery. They're a little salty. They're a little bit oniony. They're a little bit garlicky. They're complex. They are an original recipe by a woman named Dot that she used to serve for her family, and they are sick and wrong. They are wonderful. So it's the DOTS, pretzels.com, dotspretzels.com. Order a couple bags of them because you are absolutely gonna freak. All right, I'm going to get to the war on Chick-fil-A in just a couple of minutes. Also, Game of Thrones themed products because of the popularity of the show. Like I said, I haven't watched it. It's a little rapey for me. It's a little violent. I'm kind of sensitive that way, so maybe not. For Easter, though, in only England, thank God, Heinz makes some weird products for the English people. Heinz makes some freaky stuff over there. Because English people, they're not known for their food. I mean, it took curry to save an invasion of curry to save England from what they were eating. So Cadbury has come up with, and I thought it was a joke, but it happened on April the 2nd, the day after April Fool's Day. Are you ready? Cadbury Cream Infused Mayonnaise. What do you eat this on? I mean, could you imagine? Now, there's some meats you can serve with sweet, right? You can serve turkey with cranberry sauce. And you can serve, pork is very good with sweet, sweet condiments on it, of course. But can you imagine a chicken sandwich with Cadbury Cream Egg mayonnaise on it? I don't know. UK site The Stylist tasted the English creation, remarked that it was surprisingly bland but sweet. Many also noted it smells way too mayonnaise-y. That's a word again, mayonnaise-y. So there you go. I don't know. It's made by blending mayo, mustard, and Cadbury Cream Eggs. I don't know. I just kind of almost gagged a little bit there. Just not. I don't think so. All right, so coming up, we're going to talk about the war on Chick-fil-A and how millennials are saying, really, no, we love Chick-fil-A. It's awesome. Game of Thrones products that are available. This is kind of interesting. The veggie chicken nugget at McDonald's. I got so much. I don't even know how I'm going to get to it all. But anyway, thank you for joining me today here on Spoonie Radio, Spoonie.com. Again, my name is Rob Carson. If you want to write me, Carson on the radio, gmail.com, Carson on the radio at gmail.com. Back in just a couple.